bit crooked there. Music therapy labs here. Kind of last minute. I almost canceled today's show, but we're gonna start off with this because we need a little of this. Can you guys hear that? Is that too loud? A little bit of the frequency therapy here. May not necessarily be music. Hopefully it's not blowing out the... Doesn't seem to show loud on the meter here, so... There we go. Let's give that a little applause there. Why not? Yes, that is my Tibetan bowl here. I got show that to you guys. Got it at a shop in Berkeley, California. They're Tibetan people that immigrated to the United States, and they have a lot of cool things. And what is inscribed on the outside and the inside is the prayer that they pray for peace. Ome Padme Om. Do you know that one? Let's look it up. I'll give you guys a direct description, and then we'll open the floor to those in the comments who have their burning questions. Or we could say maybe just some nice questions, some important questions you might have about life, about music, about how it all relates and works together, how the frequencies of the universe are bonded together. And I think music is a wonderful expression of that bonded togetherness or connection of all things, whether there's life or not. Most of what we see out there, we don't even consider it having life, but I think it's all part of it. I think we're all connected to it. We're all part of it. So today's going to be a chill day. I was hoping to have my mom on today. I was going to have her talk about Bob Weir, talk about the Grateful Dead, and her experience growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area as an immigrant Hungarian, escaping from her homeland, which she loved very much, but, you know, had to escape. She was only 11 years old, but, you know, there was a revolution there in Hungary. First ones to fight up against the Russians to try to break free of their tyranny, their I don't think it was communism, but that's what they call it. Their program there, their government tyrannical system there. And she found, you know, a great deal of joy and happiness and peace with all its other challenges. Learning a new language, she picked it up pretty quick, you know, here in the US. Made a bunch of other immigrant friends. So she had a group of, they call themselves the UN of Lincoln High. They were all from different countries, and they all made, you know, friends. And that was at that time when a lot of that stuff was still very new, and the world was different. It was still in some ways still innocent, yet not, you know. And we have a different perspective on a lot of this now, with all the information, all the info we're exposed to. And so her experience growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area, right around that period of time, I was born in 66, so I was already 3 when 1969 happened, and you had, you know, that whole flower power hippie movement going on, but it was already going on there, you know, prior to that, of course. And so she experienced some of that as a teenager, as a high schooler. She had me when she was 20, so she, you know, she was young. Right, that was kind of the age. Typically, some people, they got married at that age and had kids and everything, you know. So different now, isn't it? So I thought it would be fun to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, because my plans were to have her on, but the reason she's not on is same reason why I was late. I slept in today. I needed it. I'm still coughing, so every once in a while I'm going to hit this mute button, like right now. And I'm going to clear my throat because I've still been coughing from this virus that I caught like a week before NAMM. I caught this. I think I actually got it at the Amoeba guitar show, because right after that is when I started to feel symptoms. And it was like, yeah, it was pretty much the next day, like the next Monday or Tuesday. And I thought, okay, I'll battle it off and it'll be gone in a day. Usually it is, right? Not this one. And this one has been going around. A lot of people have heard about it, and it's been causing upper respiratory issues as well. So I still have a cough, and I don't have any pain. I don't have any dizziness or temperature or lack of sleep or nothing. Yeah, I'm fine. Totally normal otherwise, just coughing still. So thank you if anyone's concerned. I'm good, but I did want to sleep in today because the last 2 nights in a row were long nights and they were wonderful. They were great. I took my 80-year-old mom to see her daughter, my sister, Metal Monica, as I like to call her, Metronome Metal Monica, and her band Then Die. Yeah, check this out, you guys. I think they're trying to call it new thrash metal or new metal. Some people are saying, yeah, it's in the genre of new metal. My brother Andy's saying, yeah, they're definitely in the genre of new metal, yet they are different. So they have that. If you click on this, if it would just, okay, I got to get out of the shot. If it would focus, there it is. Click on that. That'll take you to their first single on their website. And they are going to be playing, if you're anywhere in the LA area on that day, I'll see you there, man. That's right. They're going to be playing the Whiskey A Go-Go again. And this time they're second to the top, right? So before they were the first opener, now they're second to the top. Anyway, they just did a show at a place in Orangevale, California, which is near Lake Folsom, north of, it's a reservoir north of Sacramento, as we like to call it, Sacramento, California. And Sacramento is a bustling, capital city of the state of California. It's the center of agriculture and the breadbasket of the world, as they say. There's a lot of food produced here, and that's why water is so important. Of course, we are always fighting about water rights and all this kind of stuff over here. But the bottom line is the show at the Orangevale, the Boardwalk, was amazing. I'll show you guys a little. I'm going to post up a video of a quick walkthrough of the place, but I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of it if you'd like. But I'm going to open the floor to your questions right in a minute here. Just wanted to give you guys a little intro. That night lasted till pretty late, and we didn't stay the night as we planned. We were going to stay in the night in a hotel and then go visit a family member, but they were sick. So I drove my mom straight home. I got home rather late. And then the next day, yesterday, it was at my brother's at game night, which usually ends like 9 or 10 o'clock at the most. Usually never goes long. But it was such a, I guess maybe because of, this time of year, there's not much that people have going on. Maybe, I don't know, the Super Bowls today and all that. But there were a lot of people that came to my brother's for game night. And so what game night is we play all kinds of board games. And sometimes my brother will introduce, or his wife will introduce something new, or people will bring stuff. So I brought our Mahjong game, but we didn't even get around to it because my sweetie didn't go. She's got too much going on with some certification stuff she's doing for Montessori school. So she just wants to knock some of that stuff out so she can, not have to think about it or worry about it. And so she didn't come, which was kind of too bad because I think she would have had a really, really great time. But great game night's great. Sometimes it can be overly competitive and a little bit too much, Last night was way chill. It was a lot of good food, everything from some spaghetti and meatballs to Chinese food and all kinds of drink and snacks and whatnot. We all had a wonderful dinner and played games and it was a lot of fun. So board games, not like you get bored games, but I mean, they're not boring, even though my wife thinks it's boring sometimes. I'm like, honey, pick a game you like and start a group, and that's how you do it. So, but anyway, the bottom line is that it's a lot of fun. I grew up playing board games like Monopoly and Risk and all these things, Chutes and Ladders in the very beginning, right? Who out of you played Chutes and Ladders, right? So I was a little wiped out from all the late night stuff because that went till almost 1 o'clock last night. I got home really late, and I really needed to sleep in because I'm still coughing. I don't feel sick or nothing, but I'm still getting over this thing, and I thought it would be best to rest. So I rested as much as I could, and I even started the show late. I missed Puppy Badass's show. He had Charles 75N on. Charles, we haven't seen you in a while, and I missed that, so I'm gonna have to catch the rerun later today. But I will then now open the floor to you guys' queries and questions and whatever you might want to say. Let's start it off with our first guy in, Matt Stewart, who we saw at the NAMM show again, briefly. And you know what's crazy about the NAMM show you really, in the National Association of Music Merchants, by the way, if you're not familiar with the NAMM show is, it's a big convention of where all the makers of products that they want to sell to shops and studios and music producers and music stores, right, merchants, right, they bring it there to display it and demo it for you and tell you about it, and everyone's there, and it's crazy loud and crazy fun, and there's too much to see and too much to do. They have rock stars all around there. Nuno was killing it, Phil X was killing it. They had all kinds of great players there. I didn't see some people there that I'd hoped to see this year weren't able to make it. Some of my European friends weren't able to make it, but I did get to see my I'd call him my friend Chris Baroche, because he's Hungarian like me, and he does a lot of stuff for Toman. And I love that store. I went to that store when I was in Germany visiting Henning Pauli of 42 Gear Street and the 42 HP 42 studios. Henning Pauli 42 is all about the, what is that book now? It's slipping my mind. The something of the universe, Masters of the Universe, or I don't know what it was. The one about what's the answer to the question of the universe? Why is it all here, and what's the point of it all? 42. That was the answer, and I think it's the perfect answer. Maybe it has something to do with 420 hertz. Maybe it has something to do with 42. I don't know. It probably has nothing to do with anything. It's just a book. It's a nonfiction, or it's a fiction, or maybe it's nonfiction. Anyway, here we go. Matt Stewart says hello. No question yet. Howdy from Greasy Monkey. What's up, Greasy Monkey? Lewis is hitting me up with the LAZ, and back at you, bro. Right on, dude. All packages shall be sent to someday. Jesus, I'm so bad. I need a helper. Can't get all this stuff done, but it's all good. I can't complain as long as you guys don't hate on me for being so bad with that. I almost didn't make it to the button. Thank God I have a touchscreen. All right, so then we got Billy Ray in here, and Glenn Michael Thompson has us. Is that a question? Let's see. Okay, he's saying, just tuning in. Guess I'm a little late, but we just started, so you're not. I've had a rough week. Went without sleep for 7 days. Oh, dude, due to nerve pain in my left leg. Oh my God. Finally saw a few doctors. Oh my God. I can't answer that right now. What do I have to say? Okay, yeah, I keep getting messages from people at the property that I manage. I'll have to talk to them later. Okay, so that distracted me. Where was I? Went without sleep for 7 days due to nerve pain in my left leg. Finally saw a few doctors and got some meds to help. That's good, dude. Did they give you gabapentin, or what did they give you? Because I had, I didn't get every time I tried to get the shingles shot, they didn't have it, or they were out of it, or some BS like that. I can't imagine in America, how do you not have something so simple like shingles shot? And every time I wanted to get it, they were out of it when I went to Kaiser. Anyway, I finally got the shingles instead, which really sucked because it's a nerve thing, and I think more than like 90% of the population have that just dormant in their body from the chickenpox, virus from when we were kids, and it'll come back at you and get you. And when you're in your later 50s, like I was, this was just like a year or so ago. It can be really painful. And it was, across my back, because it comes from your nerves, your spine, right? And around to my torso, like here. So it was really terrible, very painful. And it kept me from sleeping well. So I know your pain, dude. Maybe not your specific pain, but that can suck. Yeah. So I did all kinds of things to try to alleviate it, but they did give me gabapentin, and they recommended other, pet meds. And I tried to stay off of it as much as I could. I tried to stay away from the meds as much as I could. But yeah, it's pretty terrible. Yeah, glad you got some help. Yeah, Ryan is saying the same thing. So hopefully I'll get down to where there's some questions. Blackjack Guitars in here too. What's up, dude? And then we got Rock Daddy. Hey. So you guys know there's a bunch of new subscribers on the channel now. I got over that 1,000 mark that I've been shooting for quite some time. And even though people say, oh, subscribers don't matter and blah blah blah, I think it matters something. It matters to the YouTuber, or whatever you want to call what I am. Is this a little bright, you guys? Tone this down a little bit. Oh no, it's too much. Wait a minute. Oh, that's way too bright. Hold on, let me get this controller here. A little better. I got all these lights in the background. That's the problem, right? Well, maybe I have them on too high of a setting. Normally I cover them up a little bit so they're not so bright. But is it all right? If it's bothersome, let me know. I can click them down a notch. So I'm going to get some other lights up there too, but I want to get the other sound traps installed on the wall first. So Chinese food, there you go. That's what we had last night. Yeah, for the game night. It was really funny. I mean, really yummy. Funny. How did that pop out of my head? It was really yummy. So who's going to win the Super Bowl? Good question. Well, I'm a San Francisco native, so I hope the Seahawks lose. And they're playing here in the Bay Area, right? At Levi Stadium. So I hope they lose. But I'm kind of tired of seeing the Patriots winning all the time too. So, but I'm not a huge football fan. I do like the sport. I think it's very exciting and fascinating. All right. Okay. So finally, we're getting down to some questions. We got Bad Bunny stuff. Okay. There's about 15 here. I'll go right to the first question after this one. So who's going to win? I think the Seahawks are going to win, but I think the Patriots should win. But I bet you the Seahawks win. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't care. We're kind of going to watch it. We're going to be at a friend's house. I'm going to be teaching. I'm using my happy method, the hear and play instruments method of teaching for one of my friends' kids. She's learning guitar, and I'm teaching her not just guitar. I'm teaching her music. I'm teaching her how to think about and how to approach this idea of playing a musical instrument, and not so much in the classical sense where you got to do these scales and you got to lose these, more about feel it, immerse yourself in it, taste it, get into it, in a sense, allow it to transform you in the way that it does, in a positive way. Because I think a lot of people who first start off taking music lessons, it's so academic, and it's so, I don't know if you guys know this, but the way academics is set up, it's based off of like a militaristic system. So, you have to do these things, take these tests and pass, and do these things to, it's task oriented like that. And sometimes that can get in the way of really understanding what it is that you're learning. And that's why so many people forget most of what they learned, because they don't really learn it. They're just, passing tests and moving on to the next thing. And, so there could be some changes in the way we educate that would probably help people understand things better and really learn, and I think learning by doing is a very important way. Yeah, getting old is tough, but I hope you enjoy whatever you can enjoy out of life, Michael, because Glenn, that is, right? Pardon me. Okay, again, here we go. They say there's no sweet without the bitter, right? There's no yin without the yang. So how do we know what's good without the bad, or whatever, so you can get into the philosophy of this stuff, and we can talk about that. That's what we're here for, right? All right, so Lewis is asking me, what is your favorite guitar you own, and what guitar have you always wanted? Great question. All right, let me cough again. Terrible how many times I'm coughing, because when I'm talking, it agitates my throat. And it's not like my throat's sore or anything. It's just the stuff is there. And I know I'm back in the chat, so we'll get to everyone. So right now, my favorite guitar that I'm playing most is that Santana guitar right there. So I got lucky. My friend Mick, who I've actually met personally, we hung out. He manages one of the guitar centers. He's a tasty blues rock player, and went with us. We met up with him. We all kind of planned, hey, let's meet at the guitar show, blah, 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 the Amigos guitar show. And so months before that, I think it was last year, probably sometime late late summer, I bought one of these like stand. What is it? Let me get this out of the way. One of these for my keyboard stand. I have like a keyboard stand that, they have these little arms here and on the back, so you can slip this thing in, and it has like a little tray that you can set a laptop on or whatever. And because I have that other keyboard that I want to eventually use out, which is really unique, the Rolly Seaboard keyboard. I still have to demo that stuff. I guess still have to hook that up and get it running in here the way I want it to be. That tray can hold like a keyboard, a laptop, or like notepads or whatever. You can lay it flat and hold your drink or whatever. But that thing broke, and I had to take it back. And so when I went to Guitar Center to get a replacement, I asked Mick, who was there, hey, anything special come in, anything interesting? He's like, well, just walk around back there, you might see something. There's a red guitar there that's pretty cool. And I saw this red guitar, that one right there, and I went right at it, and I noticed it's a PRS shaped body, and I've always wanted a double cut style double humbucker, like a double humbucker. Well, you know what I mean, two humbuckies guitar. And then I saw the very interesting inlays in it. If you want, I can bring it down and show it to you guys, but I think most of you guys have seen it. And it's got like these abalone like slashes across, going diagonally across the frets. And I thought, oh my God, finally a PRS without birds on it. They have the dot ones too, like the Vela and stuff, but I've never liked the necks on those. And this one's got a little different kind of a neck than what I'm used to a degree. It's a kind of a, I don't know. It's kind of like a, I don't know. It's kind of like a Gibson neck in a way, a little bit. I played Gibsons but not as fat and round. So it's a little flatter. So it's got a little more of a D shape, if you want to call it that, right? So I'm used to more of like a Strat style, C-shaped style neck, but I've been playing that one all the time. I don't know why. It just calls to me, and I'm just taking it out and I'm playing it. And I have all my other guitars available to me, but I have the other one that I was taking for a while before I got that was the Meteora, which has the Vega. I dropped the Vega Trem into that thing. It's over here. You can kind of see the edge of it right there. But yeah, that guitar is just, man, I'm digging it. I can get all kinds of sounds out of it. And, I can't get like a Stratty sound out of it, but it's all good. So what have I always wanted? A lot of guitars. But, a Randy Rhoads vintage white custom like that with the boa strap and the whole thing. That to me, that would be awesome to have that. I don't have a black Strat. I'd always wanted a Pink Floyd style David Gilmour, and another favorite of mine, the Edge guitar, like a Strat like that one. Both totally different kinds of players, but both tone hounds. Both those guys were really into specific sound that they were trying to create. They're like, the Edge really was a master at building almost a song around a sound sometimes, and he was still is, a brilliant player and songwriter, and so is David Gilmour. So two guys that, the black Strat. And then of course, I'd love to have a different kind of V in here. Like, it would be cool to have like a Michael Schenker V. I sold my Richie Faulkner V. I wish I still had that. Maybe that was a cool V. That was an awesome guitar. But I got money that I needed for something with that, and it was worth it at the time. And I think I hang on to things too much anyway, so it's kind of good to kind of let things go. And then what else? What have I always wanted? Yeah, I don't know. An Explorer, Yeah. There's so many guitars that a guitarist wants. What do I not want is the question. I don't want a PRS with birds on it. All right. So Bad Bunny, is that a question, Boomster? What do I think of Bad Bunny? I'm sorry, I didn't hit the button. I was reaching for my coffee, and I was afraid I'd knock it over if I tried to hit the button fast. Um, I don't know much about his music. My wife said that she doesn't like him because he swears a lot and it's nasty kind of music or whatever, but that seems to be the trend now. And it's in Spanish, and she speaks Spanish. Obviously, she's from Peru. And he's going to be doing the Super Bowl thing. But at the same time, I applaud the choice for, its diversity's sake, and celebrating diversity and celebrating, just different kind of music. I mean, the parents of the kids of the 50s hated the Beatles because they were so bad with their long hair, and they're making their kids scream and go crazy, so I'm a little more open-minded to that kind of thing. I mean, I think whatever that music is expressing, I have to listen. Okay, I'm gonna have to message this guy. Well, I told him I can't talk to him right now unless he has an emergency. Let me just say, if it's not an emergency, I'll call you back. This is the problem when you're a property manager, and it's Sunday, and it's my day off, people, and it's been a long week. I'm busy now. Call you in 45 minutes, okay? Is it an emergency? Question mark. What if I was at church or something, right? Yeah, I've gone to church before. I grew up Catholic, actually. Yeah, I went to a Catholic school for a year and a half. It was quite an interesting experience, to put it bluntly. I thought NAM meant not available maybe in May. Yeah, I think that's true for some products, right? Okay, he said okay. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Stop bothering me. Anyway. Okay, let me hit the gong again because I'm in an attitude now. I gotta get rid of the attitude. Back to home. We need a little home once in a while, right? Oh yeah, I like that. Just kind of let that resonate, man. I wish it would resonate the phlegm out of my chest and let me stop coughing. Anyway, all right, Rock Daddy. He's just saying hi to people. Let's get on to the next question. 59 in March. Okay, I'll be 60 in June. I feel good for a 60-year-old man. If they force me to retire at 65, no, I'm not retiring at 65. I'm sorry. Yeah. We need a good rock and roll metal band for Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah, have they ever done Metallica? Okay, let's look that up. Okay, what rock and roll band would you want? When they had Prince on, man, that guy slayed it. He slayed it, and I love Prince, man, because he's like rock and roll, but he's also a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's like I love that guy. Dang. I don't think the coffee is helping. I should have had tea, right? Anyway, I think the milk and the coffee doesn't help with the throat thing. I could have gotten a lozenge too. I have them. So let's see your question. Yeah. So what band? Let me ask you guys a question. What should I scroll all the way down to the bottom and work my way back up? Let's do that. All right. McDonald dump. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but I kind of get an idea. So no, Metallica has never done a halftime show, but 10 years ago they did the night before concert at the Giants ballpark. I was there. Mike Wood, right on Mike Wood. I know that guy. You know that joke? I know that guy. Yeah, we hung out. We've hung out a few times. We've gone to a couple shows together. The Mammoth show was great, right? That was great. And some other shows. We went to that. Which one was the BO? About the BOA show, or the Best of All Worlds? I call it the BOA. Best of all worlds. Bow, 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 bow show. Mr. Big. I know this guy. So no Metallica show. Yeah, but you were there for that. Right on, dude. Yeah. Yeah, he was, dude. You know who was his like he looked up to the most? He told about it later. It was revealed after his death. Santana. Santana was like a big inspiration for him. And now that you listen to his playing, you listen to Santana, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. Okay. Yeah, he was a funky guitarist. Yeah. Black coffee better, tea is probably best. Yeah, absolutely agree. Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. All right. So we'll work our way up here. So good to see everyone saying good to see each other. Matt Hatter, what's up, Matt Hatter? Yeah, Sammy, I know that guy, Mr. Big. Okay. Then Metallica. They had Mr. Big one time for the Super Bowl show. I know that they had Lenny Kravitz, didn't they? That guy can rock. Love that guy too. I got out of bed, made coffee, cooked, and eaten breakfast. In the time between, I wrote my first comment, and last still hasn't been seen it. All right, let me get back up, work my way up. Questions? Any questions? Gotta go save the world. Thanks, folks. Okay, Boomster Black, save the world for us, will you? It needs saving. Now we can save it together, you all. Let's all get together and save the world. You look like what Trump is there. Yeah, it's pretty bad, dude. I know. Yeah, but some of the Americans are proud of that guy. They think he's doing a great job. Some people think, I've heard some other people, other YouTube people that are Americans, that live out in the Midwest and whatnot, East Coast, mostly Midwest. They think, oh, my losses have, I've gotten a return on my losses from a couple years ago in stocks, so I guess it's all good. I don't agree. I think that it's shameful what's happening, and I'll be blunt, you guys. I don't necessarily want to get into politics, but I'll trade arguments with you all day long, because to me, I think we're slipping into a realm where people believe somebody is what they think he is because of what he and they say they are, and they're not really looking at what they're doing. And don't look at what someone says, look at what they do. What have these people done? And look at what all of these people are planning, and it doesn't look good to me. I mean, I don't want to be replaced by a robot. I fear, one of my greatest fears is these people who have all this power that are running the world with all their money and controlling everything might want to just get rid of us all and have robots take care of them, and they can have this beautiful earth for themselves, and everyone else can be dead as far as they're concerned, and might wipe us out with a virus or something like that. That they could do that. They probably have the power. And it sounds like a James Bond movie, where some evil genius millionaire guy or some crazy, chaos kind of person does something like this. But that's why those movies have always been interesting to me and us as, people in the world. How many times have we seen that kind of idea played out? And you have these people that believe in eugenics and superior beings and all. I mean, look, man, we're all just creatures on this planet, living. Thankfully, there's life on this planet. It's somehow here, and we're able to take part in this togetherness and consciousness with it all. And instead of dipping into that, it's like it's more about controlling it all and having it all, and it's mine, and I want to, and they're going to tell us, what kind of life we should live according to them, kind of thing. And I'm like, who asked you, bro? Who asked any of these people? And I think part of the problem is that because people will buy the products and buy into it, they think that, oh, they must be right. Everyone's buying on Amazon, so Bezos is a good human because he's giving everyone cheap products. But you look at how he got those cheap products to you and the way that he went about it, and then it makes you go, oh, wait a minute, this is not cool. This is, it's a monopolistic kind of thing, and that can be very bad for a lot of reasons. If you've studied anything about economics, you'll understand how bad that can be. But anyway, but that's it for my stump speech for now. Yeah, for Prince, dude. So there was some info that came out post Prince's passing, that Santana was a huge influence on him as a player of the guitar, and he looked up to Santana a lot. So that's cool. Yeah, so you'd like to see him for a halftime show? Dude, that would rip, you know? You know what they ought to do? They ought to do like a metal montage, you know? They should do like get a bunch of different bands coming up there and doing like a montage of metal and show the world, you know, what metal's all about, because it's not just one kind of thing. Heavy metal, you know, I remember back in the day, if you look at like old Judas Priest of like when Rob Halford was wearing like silken robe like looking things in the 70s. I mean, this stuff evolved, you know, and you know, the Ramones were one of the first groups that wore the black leather jacket thing, but there were other groups out there before them. There was a group, I think they were called, what were they called? The Warriors or something like that. It's this guy that we met who has a guitar store that they built like this all-in-one guitar. Johnny Bean and I, he got invited and we went with them. And Andy Summer actually was kind of promoting one of their guitars for a while. And I played some drums over there in the little studio kind of hang room where we were rocking out a little bit. And it was kind of fun. They were talking about how, man, they were doing what we now call heavy metal in the mid 70s, but nobody cared because they were black. And they were like, because you're a black person, nobody wants to watch your metal stuff. But I don't know. I mean, people loved Hendrix. So, you know, there's a lot of reasoning to why one way or another your band survives or not. But yeah, let's see any other questions up here. Coffee with cinnamon and nutmeg. Yes, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I should have put some of that in there. Yeah, he was a funky player. Yeah, all right, let me get back down to the bottom of the chat. All right, let's see. Any other questions? So you guys have any questions about music as therapy? That is the show. Halftime is all lip sync anyway. Yeah, that's true too, right? Well, but you know, it's still a show, right? So like, but I get what you mean. Yeah. I wonder though, there must be some of it that's not, you know. I wonder how much of it really is the actual vocals or not. Oh, okay, cool, Glenn. Yeah, the energy healing is cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, curing things, that's a different thing, right? All right, so this is a good question. Rock Daddy. Does anyone think we are a science experiment, I mean, by a junior high alien in his mother's basement? Yeah, I this is a common theme. On the dark side of the moon, and he's not getting good grades. Well, there are a lot of theories about the possibility that we are actually in a simulation. When you look at some of what the quantum physics experts, the people at the highest level of quantum physics and physics, they talk quite a bit about how it does seem to appear that our universe, the entire universe, which is massive, okay, could be a simulation, that we are in a simulation, and that we are possibly avatars in that simulated world. And so what would that simulated world be? Well, even Neil deGrasse Tyson, not so jokingly but a little bit kind of jokingly, you know, said that, hey, you know, it's kind of odd that every time things kind of start to go a little bit good in some way, something bad happens to make the situation here on earth interesting, like a game, like a video game where, you know, if it was just all everything working out perfect all the time, it would be boring and no one would want to play that game. Whereas if there's always something, you know, causing problems or changing things up, you know, an asteroid comes and wipes out one entire life form, then a whole nother one grows up in its place. So maybe in that kid's basement, he was playing dinosaurs before, and he had this, you know, world of dinosaurs, and maybe their sense of time and space time and all that doesn't exist in the same way as it does for us, because we live a certain period of time in this life. So we look at life as this linear thing because our experience, our perspective, is from that of a creature that has a beginning and an end, you know. But do we really end when we're passing on our genes to the next one? And just like a tree that, you know, which is the beginning, right? The acorn or the tree, or how did it all start? And you look at how things evolve and the evolution of things, of people, creatures, even planets. How did this earth get created? How did it all come together? It wasn't like necessarily created, it came together due to an explosion or another, a mass of gases that then combined. And you look into how they look they study on how this can occur. They see it occurring elsewhere in the universe. They study it, and they they make comparisons. And that's science. That's what fascinates me about science and cosmology, not cosmetology, cosmology. One's makeup, the other one's the makeup of the universe on the grand scale. And then you got the minute scale too. So, you know, we could all be in some kind of a game, but then so what? Like he would say, but then be the best player you can be. So if you're in that avatar and you're that player, whatever consciousness you've become, be the best player you can be in the game. And I've often tried to teach, like, even when I first went back to study psychology in my 40s to help people. I wanted to help people somehow and make a living at it somehow, but it's just so hard to, I didn't go into it for a specific reason. I'll talk about that again some other time. Maybe if you guys really want to know, I'll tell you now. But at the time, I got my 2-year degree in sociology and a transferable degree in psychology in California to state colleges here. And I was planning to go to the Palo Alto University, which is an all psychology university here in Palo Alto near Stanford. They work with Stanford. There's a lot of combined stuff going on there, and they work with the veterans at the Veterans Hospital there in Palo Alto as well. So I was very interested in trying to help, especially veterans and people that suffer from PTSD and trauma and other trauma patients and people who suffer from any psychological disorder, because music is one of the best ways to break through and find a path out of depression and out of trauma of all kinds, because of how music lights up a lot of parts of your brain and can kind of get you active again, bring you back out of where you're stuck in. But it doesn't work for everyone with everything, but it's definitely a very good thing. It's a very good healing. As a matter of fact, for pain, if you listen to and use music therapy in hospital setting, like prior to surgery and post surgery, you'll need less pain medication. That's a proven fact. It's been proven that it works to alleviate pain. So if they're able to save money by not having so much pain medication given to you, and less problems with pain medication, because they have side effects, some bad ones, not to mention addiction and death, like you see a lot of that happening now with some of the pain medications out there. Music is one of those things that can help distract your mind from the pain and help you. It builds up the positive endorphins and good feelings and brings back memories and all this stuff. So music is one of those things that can be used as a powerful medicine. And it's no wonder in the past that when they used to get together after a hard day of buffalo hunting or whatever, the natives would get around the circle and around the fire and sing and dance and do all this stuff, because it's a lot easier to go to sleep and get a good night's rest, rather than just thinking about, oh, what a rough day it was and how hard, oh, my body hurts and blah blah blah. Whereas everyone otherwise pass around the little peace pipe and feel good about the day, and hit the next day running. I don't know, I think there's something to all of that, and we're missing out on some of it. And that's part of the reason why maybe I'm a little bit more pro hippie kind of thinking, in the sense of how I live my life and how I think others might want to look at that regimented way of life, and that you have to do this and you have to do that and you got to be this and you got to be that to be successful kind of stuff. BS. That's what I will say to that. And you know what? I'll post up this 70-something-year-old man's video that he put up recently. I think it was Jamie, one of the subscribers to the show. I don't see him all the time in the chat, but he shares a lot of stuff with me. It might have been him, or it might have been somebody else. Let me see, who was it? I think it was Jamie, though, who shared this one with me. And I'll share it to you all. But it's this 70-something-year-old man talking about how, hey man, I did everything wrong, and I wish I had known what I know now and what I think is important. I wish I knew that then, now, and part of it is, don't let the world and the ego and the world ego, the groupthink, push you into being something and doing things that you are not meant to be here for. Maybe that's not what your purpose is, to work a job 9 to 5 and be successful and blah blah blah. Maybe there's something more to it than that, right? Spend time with your family and your friends, and spread love and understanding, and help people, help each other. That builds hope, and hope solves problems. We're not going to solve the problems of the world if we can't trust each other and work with each other and have hope that these problems that are facing us can't be solved. And we can do it together, but it's not going to be done by one guy saying he's going to solve all of it, because it hasn't been happening. So you won't take narcotics for pain medication. I've seen, yeah, exactly, right? So definitely use music therapy, Mad Hatter, right? Yeah, yeah. And I avoid anything that's not natural. So let me give you some advice if you'll listen to my advice. Eat as much natural food as you can. In other words, the way that it came out of the earth, try to eat it in that form. Of course, you can cook it, warm it up. You don't have to eat raw broccoli. Hold on, I got a cough again. But the science is already out there. We all know what is good and bad for us. Cereal and milk, probably not so good, you know, probably not for a breakfast. How about an egg with some sauteed vegetables, some sourdough bread or some other kind of wheat toast or something, but something that's, if you make your own bread, that's even better. But sometimes, the sourdough bread is great because it has probiotics in it, just like yogurt. Yogurt is a really good thing. Get your gut going. Have a spoon of yogurt every day, in the morning, especially. Get your day going with something like that. I always have a like a little cup of warm water, just filtered water that I filter our water with natural grown right in the backyard here, lemon, a little spritz of that in there. And I'll first wash down, they say to rinse your saliva with a cup of water, and drink it, because that actually helps get your body the good bacteria going in your gut. Gut health is really important to our overall health, because what we take in as nutrition or poison is what spreads to our brain and the rest of our body and helps it either function or not function. Super simple. Yeah, 12 eggs might be too much for one sit down, but I have an egg every day. I have a piece of toast every day. I have, like, usually some greens, and often I'll have, like, olive oil with, like, some vinaigrette on my veggies, because that is also good. A spoon of olive oil a day will keep the doctor away. And yeah, two pieces of toast, or sometimes just one, depending. Sometimes I'll have a bagel. I love everything bagels. But I try to stay away from any food that comes out of a box that you mix up and heat up or warm up or whatever. And I know not everyone has the ability to get this food. We're lucky living in California, and I purposefully live in California for this. I lived in some other states. I came back here, and I'm like, I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to freaking make it work. But, there are a lot of other parts of the world too where you can find the fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, and foods. We have a lot of cattle, farms around here too. So I can get the more fresh meat, the more fresh milk, the more fresh eggs. Everything is local. And I try to buy as much of it locally as I can. But I know not everyone has this option. And people that live right here, say in Oakland or somewhere, they don't have those stores nearby. They don't have the availability to get some of those foods. And that's where there are organizations that try to help get fresh foods and things for, people that live in certain urban areas that don't get fresh stuff. But I live outside of the urban area, right on the edge of what they call the East Bay, right before we hit over the next level of hills, and then that's the valley, the Ignacio Valley, of where all the other stuff is growing, right? But yeah, there are food, and half an hour away I can get to, like, a fresh fruit and vegetable stand, or I can just wait till the farmers market on Sunday or Thursday night and get my fresh stuff, or I get it from the local, Trader Joe's is a good place that I go to that's nearby here that has a lot of local fresh stuff. I buy my honey. Honey is a good anti-inflammatory. I have that with my tea and stuff. I have tea 3-4 times a day, and I usually have a non-caffeine herbal green tea or herbal tea, like Celestial Seasoning. Sleepy Time is my go-to before bed. And hey, Holly, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. So we started late, so we're gonna go another 5-10 minutes and then end it. So if you have a question, ask it now. But yeah, I think you have to be proactive about what you put into your body if you want to have a healthy body. But then even then, it's not your fault if some companies like 3M and Scotch and all these companies are making PFAS, if you don't know what those are, forever chemicals that they keep reformulating. So the government has to keep playing catch up on proving whether or not what they're creating is dangerous or not. And it is dangerous, and it's killing people, giving them cancer in places around the world that never had cancer before, because the stuff's in the water and the air and everything, and it doesn't just dissipate. It doesn't deteriorate and dissipate, and it's causing all kinds of problems. So you can get tested for your PFAS levels in your body, and one way to get rid of it is by bloodletting, if you know what I mean. Not like in the old days with leeches and stuff, but give blood and then have them toss it. I don't know what to say, but the PFAS are what's bad, and we build it up in our body, and it'll give us all kinds of. It's carcinogenic. It'll give us all kinds of problems. So that's some of what's going on. I mean, think about how many chemicals, different kinds of chemicals have been made. I got to hit that cough button. How many different kinds of chemicals have we been exposed to in the modern era, right? So many chemicals, all the plastics and everything. So it's no shocker that there's more weird viruses and weird, strains of diseases, and more people have autism, and more people have this and that and the other thing. It has a lot to do with our exposure to all these non-natural elements that we're constantly being exposed to, right? So it's pretty common sense to me, but how do you stop it? That's tough. All right, so here's what was this one? Okay, we answered that question. Yes, we probably are. and what does that mean, right? Oh man, okay, this is good. Okay, Matt, I haven't been able to play me guitars or drum kit because of the torn ligament in my right shoulder and a lower back injury. I'm doing quite a bit of physical therapy in order. So here's what I suggest to you, dude. Pick up an instrument that you've never thought of playing before that doesn't require you to be that physical. So here's an example. I know this is you're gonna think this is stupidly silly, but they make bigger ones, they make smaller ones. You can be laying on the bed going. Get like I have some Native American flutes outside, and some from South America that I bought when I was in Peru and when I was in Sedona, and I play those flutes. I have this clay flute from Puno up in Lake Titicaca. I'm not joking. That's where I got it. And it's wonderful to pick up an instrument that is different than anything else you played, and it's a musical thing, dude, and you can enjoy creating your own music. Just listen to this. This sounds great, doesn't it? You can make music with. I just made that up. Thank you. So don't be despondent. Don't feel down and out because you can't do the thing you really want to do. Maybe that's a door to open. It gives you an open door for something new. Grab some different thing. You know. Learn some percussion. Get some bongos. Check this out. Yeah. See, I went to this store. I don't know why I'm wearing headphones. There's nobody else here, but I can hear my voice on the mic better this way. But what's funny is that I went to not Guitar Center, Starving Musician, right nearby Guitar Center. Johnny goes there all the time. If you guys watch Johnny Bean's show, Johnny Bean TV, check it out. There he is. I bought that for $40. You know, it's not heavy. It's percussive. You can learn how to learn some bongo technique, right? And learn a different instrument. That might open you up to some other ways of, you know, expressing yourself musically, right? Right, Johnny? Yeah. Yo, what's up, bro? Yeah, so it makes me look professional, and that's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought that's what the Chuyo does. Yeah, bongo in the jungle, right? Johnny, you. Did he rage quit on you too? I'm kidding. Yeah, the little chime thing, right? That's cool, right? I bought that in Germany. And then you can get a bunch of these things in different sizes and different, you know, you can create like who was that? I was talking about that. I think it was Glenn. I got a cough again. Hold on. Oh, all right. I know they say you're not supposed to cough in your hand, but I'm not touching hands with anyone right now. Yeah, Mad Hatter's been 29 forever, like me. All right, so you know, they have different sizes, different kinds of bowls, right? And you can like create some really cool sounds and music with this stuff, you know. Get another one, bong that one, and do that one, and like change these frequencies, these harmonies, and do what they call a sound bath, right? Get a sound bath. We've gone to sound baths before. It's totally fun, man. You lay down. It's like all kumbaya kind of yoga mats and stuff, and the person's playing the sound bath. They do a concert, and then they start coming around to have you lay down and close your eyes, and they're right above you with these bowls and go bong, you know. And it's like vibrating your whole world, man. It's amazing. Yeah, singing bowls. That's right. They call them singing bowls. It's great for meditation, relaxation, you know. But you can learn to play the bowls and learn to play the little what do they call these things? I'm gonna say glockenspielen, but I'm wrong. And they make bigger ones too, where they have like a lot more notes, and then you can like create some really cool musical stuff. And they're not expensive, you know. So don't fret when you can't play your instrument of choice. Pick up something new, man. Right? All right, let's see. I'm gonna end it soon. So any other questions? Okay, you're picking up some guitars for short periods, but can't practice enough to feel in shape because of my left shoulder part. Yeah. It was you, Glenn. Yeah, physical therapy hurts, and it's expensive too. It hurts the wallet as well, right? Oops, wrong button. I was gonna hit the laugh button. All right, I'll hit the other laugh button. Both those together are the best, right? All right, so that's a friend of Johnny Bean's doing that laughing right there, I think. Yeah. No, Lake Titicaca in Peru. So that's in Peru and Germany. When I was in Germany, I bought this, where the Glockenspielen thing or whatever. I'm making it up. I bought this in Germany and other things at Thomann, and then I bought the flutes and stuff in Peru. Some really cool things. Yeah. So, you know, that's what's cool about music, man. Yeah, kalimbas or caimbas or thumb pianos. Maybe that's what it's called. Right? Holly just needs to take a bath. All right, take a bath, Holly. Oh my God. You're cracking me up. Oh my God. Singing bowls for meditation. Have some singing bowls while you take a bath. That would be awesome, right? That's the best. Singing bowls and taking a bath. All right. Yeah, definitely go if you can, man. You know, right now it's tough to get around anywhere. But you know, there's always, sometimes you can get some cheap fares to some places. Springtime's always a beautiful time to go to places like Europe because of all the blooming of the flowers in springtime, you know. Yeah. So any other burning questions, you guys? Leave some comments if you have some questions. Ask me some questions in the comments afterwards. Let me know what your thoughts are about what other topics you might like to see on the show. Obviously, I always have some ideas for shows. If any new people are to this channel or watching this, I do often talk more about music and therapy and music therapy and psychology and the psychology of music. And there are several books I'm reading right now and going through that. This is one of the ones that I really enjoyed. The rack here. This is actually not by a psychologist, but you guys know who Rick Rubin is, right? Yeah. The Creative Act, A Way of Being. So this is kind of philosophical in a sense, but there's a lot of really good kind of, positive stuff. So let's see. Let's end it with that. Let's end it with something from here. All right. So he has like this, sometimes these one sentence openings to each chapter. So this chapter is page 299 of the book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin, the great producer and music, I guess creator. He's kind of, he helps other people create music, but he's part of the process, right? So this is for the chapter called Spontaneity, Special Moments, in parentheses. And the preamble to that, or what you might call his sentence that introduces that, maybe the best idea is the one you're going to come up with this evening. So in other words, maybe the best idea is the one that hasn't happened yet. It's coming. Maybe it's going to come today. Maybe it's right now. Maybe it's tonight. And then he goes on the first paragraph or so in here. He says, the song that springs to mind fully formed, the impulsive windings of a Jackson Pollock, right? The painter. The spontaneous dance move that fills the floor. So the dance move that fills the floor. Artists may prize spontaneous works, thinking there is some higher purity or specialness. Here, I'll hold it like this. It looks more professional. Or specialness held in works, channeled instead of carefully planned. You get that part? Let's read that again. Artists may prize spontaneous works, thinking there is some higher purity or specialness held in works, channeled instead of carefully planned. But can you tell the difference between art that sprang to mind and art that was crafted with forethought? And what does this difference matter? Let that sit. Think about that until next time, you guys. And maybe I'll read some more from the great Rick Rubin and his philosophy on music creation, all that. All right, we're going to end the show with the bong, the ding dong bong, the Tibetan singing bowl. Om Padme Om is what's written all around here. And they would often chant that, right? That's typically what you chant is Om. You heard of Om, right? Om is part of the prayer. Om. Om Padme Om. Here we go. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy that, And leave me questions. Please comment after the show. Tell me what you thought about today's show, what you might want to see on a future show. And we'll see you again next week on Thursday night for the Gear End demo show, where I'm gonna probably get that Yoko Ono white pedal out for somebody who requested me to do a demo of it. I'll plug it into my deluxe reverb that I bought from Chris Buck, my very cool Fender deluxe reverb that I bought from him. Gave me a great price too. That guy's super cool. I met him at NAMM again, so it's really nice to meet that guy in person and chat with him again. What a player. That's another guy who he has forethought in his playing, but he also plays, it's an inspired form of creation and playing. So like what Rick Rubin here is saying, right? Yeah, BRB, better run back, gonna take a snapshot. What? Snapchat? I have no idea what you're talking about, Johnny. But whatever it is, I'm sure it's good. All right, you guys, go check out Johnny Bean's show last night. I still have to catch up on a lot of videos I've missed over the days. Our buddy Puppy Badass had Charles 75N on his show this morning. I got to catch up on that one. So we'll do as much catching up as we can, probably in 2 times speed. but we'll do it maybe at like 1.8 times speed. And yeah, please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos. I still have some more NAM show stuff I got to post up, so I'll do that as I have time to splice those together and put them together. And we'll see you guys out there in the chats, right? Be good to each other, do good things. That's what I have to say. Until then, see you guys later. And then where's that thing? I gotta hit that button, right?